putting enough. Okay, look, I don't even know where the fuck I'm headed, but if I did, what's the point? Cause it's all dependent on what I'm feeling in a minute. In the city where I'm living, my mind trying to go wild, so I just run with it. What you doing, where you been at, what's up? How you feeling, what's the deal? Hope you living it up. Said he's putting in work, he don't putting enough, but I've been thinking a lot, so I don't sleep too much. And I hope the night don't end before we get started. I'll be all alone sometimes. Not a flight to LA, I'm on it. Living on our own, we going it like that. And when the time comes to get mobbing, we don't let it go to waste. These long summer nights gon' fade. Getting giddy with a bottle of Jack. She got a Civic in the city with the girls in the back, and she don't think she pretty, but she better than bad. And she be working at the bar, but her bio says she acts. She an Insta star, model and a runner. She a singer, dancer, writer. She a Donna fucking Glover. Funny part about it all is I really kinda dug her, but I'm never not moving, so I couldn't fucking love her. So I stay young, flew through the moonlight, looking like Peter Pan. Got a tan by the poolside. Oh damn, who the hell the new guy? Started on a tube, making waves with a new tide. Born in the West, raised by the internet, whole lot of stress, and I ain't even made it yet. Drowned out by the neon lights, and with it back to Cali where the stars wanna shine. I hope the night don't end before we get started. I'll be all alone sometimes. Not a flight to LA, I'm on it. Living on our own, we going it like that. And when the time comes to get mobbing, we don't let it go to waste. These long summer nights gon' fade. Don't let it go to waste. These long summer nights gon' fade. I swear I be going insane these days, feeling all the same. It's late, but I'm stuck in my brain, afraid of all the things they'll say. I don't wanna play no games. I live for the fucking chase. We don't leave it up to fate. I grow, but I'm not gonna change. 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 Yeah. The night don't end before we get started. I'll be all alone sometimes. Not a flight to LA, I'm on it. Living on our own, we going it like that. And when the time comes to get mobbing, we don't let it go to waste. These long summer nights gon' fade. I hope the night don't end before we get started. I'll be all alone sometimes. Not a flight to LA, I'm on it. Living on our own, we going it like that. And when the time comes to get mobbing, we don't let it go to waste. These long summer nights gon' fade.
What is up? Today we're debunking Mr. Shapiro himself. The absolute favorite.
If your
Honestly,
cable
he's
internet
my
slow
favorite.
upload speeds turn.
And so that's why I'm supporting him, obviously. Okay. Hold on, let me pull this up. Okay. Is that all good? Okay, yeah. So we got it working. Let me just make sure the audio is good. I think that's about good right there. Let's just start it.
I did not vote for Donald Trump in 2016. I am voting for Donald Trump in 2020.
Yes,
There are
you
3
Daddy.
reasons I'm going to vote for Donald Trump in 2020 when I didn't 4 years ago. First, I was simply wrong about Donald Trump on policy. Second, I wasn't really wrong about Donald Trump on character, but whatever damage he was going to do has already been done, and it's not going to help if I don't vote for him this time. And third, most importantly, the Democrats have lost their f***ing minds. So, first of all, Donald Trump has governed pretty conservatively. I thought he would not be conservative in his governance. I was just wrong on that. Donald Trump radically cut regulation. You actually saw reductions in the number of man-hours dedicated to dealing with regulation for the first time in a long time under Donald Trump. He appointed originalist judges to the best of his ability. We're talking dozens of them, textualist, originalist judges who actually care about the role of the judiciary. He cut taxes, jogging the economy, raising it to heights not seen in half a century, the lowest unemployment rate.
Oh yeah, because when the government doesn't have money, equal good. We love that. Taxes being cut. I don't think that's a accomplishment really, because all that does is just lower the amount of income the government gets. It's crazy. It's really weird. But right now, after Trump has cut taxes, he's trying to pay people $2,000, which I'm totally fine with that, but I don't understand why cutting taxes was done and then spending even more money when we could have just given people $2,000 per month instead of having to cut taxes and now dealing with this. And if you're going to cut taxes, make sure it's for poor people and not for everyone, because rich people need to be paying more taxes than poor people, because like, just because you're rich doesn't mean money inflates. I'm not saying take away a bunch of the like wealth of a rich person, but it's like you can't just say the rich people need to be paying the same, you need to have the same tax rate. But the thing is the most rich people are businessmen or women, mostly men. I do. They all, they're not actually business people. Their job is just to dodge taxes. And so when you have a bunch of these people dodging taxes when they could be paying their taxes and we would need to cut taxes, or we wouldn't need to have to worry. We could cut taxes. We wouldn't need to keep taxes the same. If they paid their taxes, we would be able to cut taxes. I'm not saying we should, but that would be a fair idea. I could understand why one would want to do that. But when you have all these rich people not paying their taxes, cutting taxes is not a good idea. And we've got an issue of money right now. Like our COVID relief bill, which I don't even know what's going on with that. It's just insane. I think it got denied, but I don't know if it's still possible to go through. That was what the government had to print money just to keep that running. So basically, I think it was 40% of the cash of the money right now circulating the economy in America was printed this year. So that just shows you how cutting taxes was never a good idea, and that's all obviously been proven by the government's need to print money and cause inflation just to be able to keep people in America safe, or somewhat financially stable because of COVID. And you know, one of the solving ideas for the economy was just a UBI, $1,000 a month. You see a lot of benefits and not that many cons to it. So
in half a century, people having their wages rise at the bottom of the spectrum. He appointed pro-life people to the executive branch and pursued pro-life policy via executive order. He dumped out of the idiotic Paris Accords, which were useless and counterproductive. He dumped the even more idiotic...
Oh, he talked about the Paris Accord. Leaving the Paris Accord does nothing for America. We don't gain anything from doing that. We lose a lot. We lose power. We could say, oh, we're in here. We're in the Paris Accord. We have power because they can most likely control it. Because we're the biggest country. Sadly. They have the most power in it. And we just gave up all our power. And it's not like we're losing anything from being in them. I don't understand what the issue with the Paris Accord is on the Republicans. Maybe I'll look into that and educate myself. But right now, I don't see an issue with it.
And evil Iran deal, which gave money to the Iranian mullahs to use for terrorism, as John Kerry freely admitted. Donald Trump crushed ISIS. He killed al-Baghdadi. He killed Qasem Soleimani. Donald Trump is the first president of my lifetime not to start any new wars, which is a kind of big thing.
Lovely face, by the way. The Iran deal, no. You see, Obama put us in that Iran deal. I don't know what it's called. It's something, I can't remember. But basically, we pay, here's the very basic version of it. We pay Iran and they don't make nukes. And it was working. We had not seen any nukes being produced in Iran. Which, by the way, we were heavily surveying considering we had soldiers stationed in Iran. Or near Iran. If not in. But Trump made a deal with North Korea on the same premise of trying to stop them from producing nukes, and that has not accomplished its goals. We've seen even more nuclear capable ICBMs being produced by North Korea and tested, and we don't even have anybody stationed or near North Korea except in South Korea, but there's the DMZ, so there's no way they can really be close to North Korea. So there's no like argument to be made there, really. I don't understand. The Iran deal was keeping us in a neutral position, was keeping us fine with Iran. It gave us power against Iran. It just gave us power overall. We were controlling Iran. And not in a negative way, not like forcing the people to do anything. No, we were just limiting their access to nuclear weapons on their account. They didn't have to take the deal, but we offered them something fair. And terrorism, it's not funding terrorism, it's funding an economy restart, which hopefully one day Iran doesn't need terrorism because their economy will boom just like America. And the only fight that terrorists have is the America is bad. But if they have success like America and see what America is doing is good in some aspects, then they would not have an argument or a reason, an ability to brainwash people into joining terrorist groups. So there's no argument to be made there, really. It's a self-solving issue. It's like, and the economic benefits Trump has given us are very slim, so we're running out of options, Benny boy.
He moved the American embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. He brokered the first meaningful peace deals there in 3 decades in the Middle East. He cracked down on China in unprecedented ways. He moved the...
Oh, dude. Bro. Big gains, dude. America We've gotten so much from Trump moving the embassy to Jerusalem. Honestly, it's insane. Let's see what he says.
Which is a kind of big thing. He moved the American embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. He brokered the first meaningful peace deals there in 3 decades in the Middle East.
What'd he say?
American embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. He brokered the first meaningful peace deals there in 3 decades in the Middle East. He cracked down on.
Okay. What about the Iran peace deal that you just said was a bad thing, yet it was slowing nuclear power, gutting nuclear power in Iran, which is a good thing. I shouldn't have said gutting. That makes it sound kind of bad, but stopping Iran from getting access to nuclear weapons, which I think is leading towards peace. Obviously, nuclear weapons only exist because of the lack of peace. If there was total peace, the nuclear weapons wouldn't exist. So getting rid of some of those nuclear weapons is leading us to a peaceful world. So I don't see the argument there.
On China in unprecedented ways. He's resisted using the federal government to control everybody's life during COVID. That's a big thing. This is the biggest government power grab of my lifetime. And Trump refused to do.
Trump refused to save like 200,000 lives. Dude, bro. Big ups for Trump. Can we get some poggers in chat for Trump, bro? Oh, shit. No viewers. Fuck. We love that. What'd he say? I have bad memory. I got distracted.
It's a big thing. This is the biggest government power grab of my life.
Oh, Trump didn't use the power of the government and shut down the country. Yet I saw some very strong power grabs in the BLM protests. Is he not going to talk about how Trump is demanding for, well, I guess just before the election, but this did not age well because Trump is now using his power and thinking about enforcing martial law, which is a pretty big power grab. And Trump is not happy about the election, and he's insisting that it was fake. So that seems like a power grab to me, a demand for power. Trump clearly does not care about power and or keeping himself humble in power. He just knew that if he sent a shutdown, he wouldn't get the Republican vote. So he knew the election was coming. He knew if he listened to the Democrats, then he would not get the votes. And now that he's lost the election, look what he's doing. He's going with the Democrats. So I clearly don't see the point. Here, he obviously does not care about power, or does not care about keeping power controlled.
Lifetime, and Trump refused to do it. Donald Trump restored due process on college campuses because he actually cares about due process, or at least his Secretary of Education does. Contrary to popular opinion, Donald Trump has not actually threatened the institutions. The fact is that Donald Trump may have been hemmed in by his own people. Whatever the rationale, he has not threatened the press. He has not threatened the legislature. He has not
threatened the press. I don't know, bro. Let's just pull up. You hear my Cherry MX Reds? I think this is a pretty...
Do you need to process a large number of video files at the same time without buying your own hardware?
Watch the next episode of This Is My Architecture.
I really don't care. Please get out of my face.
I've been dealing with the press a long time. I think the political press is among the most dishonest people that I've ever met.
The people don't trust you, and the people don't trust the media.
She starts asking me all sorts of ridiculous questions, and, you know, you could see there was blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever.
I have the right to ask the question.
No, you
and
don't.
this is the question.
You haven't been called.
No, I have the right to ask the question.
Go back to
This
your
is no.
And he stood up and started ranting and raving like a madman. He was totally, absolutely out of line.
Donald Trump under fire again, this time for seeming to mock a reporter's disability.
The poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
The mainstream media, these people back here, they're the worst. They are so dishonest. No, they're so dishonest. And by the way, some of the media is terrific. But most of it, 70%, 75%, is absolute dishonest, absolute scum. Remember that. Scum.
Throwback to when Trump, or when, excuse me, throwback to when Fox News made a video about or an entire, I'm sorry, I can't not talk right now, I'm so tired. An entire story about Obama wearing a tan suit. We'll watch Trevor
When they
Noah
told me it
this.
was multiple myeloma, I knew how.
The president came out addressing reporters on Thursday, and he was wearing this tan suit.
President Obama's decision to wear a light tan suit at yesterday's news conference. He was wearing a tan suit.
Light tan suit.
I think it was shocking to a lot of people. Is this an effort to make him look warmer?
No way, I don't think any of us can excuse what the president did yesterday. I mean, and then for him to walk out, I'm not trying to be trivial here, but in a light suit, light tan suit.
Also known as Tangate.
Tan suit, and how the tan suit made him look unpresidential.
Whoever talked him into going into a tan suit, they're so desperate because of these low poll numbers, they're willing to do anything.
The tan suit made him look unpresidential.
There's one more thing that has many Americans, including myself, humiliated today. Take a look at the photo comparison of our commander-in-chief. There he is, juxtaposed with Vladimir Putin. They have no respect for our president, for his weakness.
He wears a helmet when he rides a bike.
The picture of him riding the bike with the bike helmet while Putin's got his shirt off.
Shirtless on the horse and all that, and Obama was riding a bike with a helmet on.
How could you be safe?
The picture says 1,000 words. Here's, watch.
Oh my goodness.
Which one?
You want to talk about the Ukraine for a second?
It all began with the picture of President Obama on the bicycle with the helmet, and now we're paying the price for that.
Putin, big, strong, muscular, on a horse. There's Obama riding a little bicycle with a helmet on. A leisure, not like a real racing bike. I mean, just going out for leisurely. He's got this dumb hat on, dumb helmet on. This is humiliating. It's unnecessary. You deserve better. We as a country deserve better, and we can do better.
Great media, by the way.
Use the executive branch in nearly as powerful ways as Barack Obama did. Now, Trump hasn't been as conservative as I would like on everything. He's spent way too much money, like oodles too much money. I actually care about that stuff. His perspective on trade is a zero-sum game. I think it's wrong-headed. He still signed into law the USMCA, which is a pretty good trade deal. But these are problems I've had with a variety of Republicans, including George W. Bush. Trump has governed overall in a far more conservative fashion than W on policy. He is the most conservative president of my lifetime on policy. Of course, Ronald Reagan left office when I was 4 years old. Second, times change. When I said I wouldn't vote for Trump in 2016, I was worried about three things. One, policy. Again, I was wrong. Second, I was worried about the soul-sucking of the Republican Party to approve bad behavior, the people nodding and grinning at bad stuff Trump did. A lot of that has happened. And third, I was worried about toxicity down ballot, right? Losing House seats, losing Senate seats, blowing out the Republican Party with minorities and women and young people. A lot of that has manifested. But here's the thing. It's already manifested. And me not voting for Trump in 2020 doesn't stop that from manifesting. Like, I've been very, very clear.
Oh, yeah, we hate when women and minorities get in the government. Ugh.
On my feelings about Donald Trump's character, I have serious reservations, to say the least. Trump has some good qualities, right? He's a hammer in search of a nail. Sometimes he hits a nail. It's super satisfying. And sometimes he hits a baby, and it is far less satisfying. Trump hitting the media, it's often justified.
I think that's
the media have exposed themselves as just a pure dumpster fire of leftist garbage. They've treated him as an enemy from the very first day. They've promulgated false narratives. They've lied about things that he has said. They have taken the worst interpretation of everything he could possibly have said.
Ben, do I have to pull up the video again? Don't make me do it, Ben. I love you too much, but now
An American flag pin is standard accessory for just about every politician and candidate in the country these days, but not Barack Obama.
He stayed in Johnson County to give a speech in Iowa City, and he wasn't wearing an American flag pin. Flag pin.
Presidential contender Barack Obama won't wear an American flag lapel pin.
A reporter for ABC's Cedar Rapids affiliate was the first to notice.
He doesn't have his flag pin, guys.
They asked him about the flag pin. He didn't have really good answers.
A no pin zone.
You're taking the pin, the American flag off of you and saying, I'm not going to wear it, almost in a little bit of a protest, I guess.
I think he's disrespecting the American flag.
He's got to apologize to the people, for example, that are working the fields. There were Marines, were in the Army.
It matters something to our troops.
Why do we wear pins? Because our country was under attack.
Barack, put on the pin.
They just hate the flag.
Obama hates the flag, guys. I ship Obama and Trump.
That doesn't mean that Trump hasn't been vindictive or petty or immoral. He does all those things. Trump being unable to focus and willing to jump on any rake is not just immoral, it is very often stupid and counterproductive. I mean, you know my opinion on this. Everybody knows, okay, deep down in the cockles of your heart, no matter how much you love Trump, everybody knows the Trump administration, with Trump on teleprompter more often and less on Twitter, would be in a position to win the 2020 election more easily.
Warning, the following ad is intended only for people who are serious about growing their YouTube channel. If this doesn't...
Everybody also knows that Trump's tweets damage him with people who don't already love him. All of that is true, right? But all of it is not changing. There's a group of people out there who every time Trump tweets something newly stupid, they get newly enraged. I think most Americans, basically, this is all baked into the cake at this point. I think it's important, deeply important, for conservatives to criticize Trump when he requires it. When Trump does something bad, we should say it out loud. We shouldn't hide that. And that's why I've been calling balls and strikes on Trump as a president since the day he was elected. But 2020 is not 2016. Everything that is bad about Trump is already part of the system. It's already part of the new normal, for better or for worse. And me avoiding voting for him in 2020 doesn't change that. Third, and most importantly, the Democrats have lost their f***ing minds. They've lost their minds. So have members of the mainstream media. So have members of our bureaucracy. So have members of academia. These people must not be allowed the mechanisms of power. Our most crucial institutions, from corporate America to the universities, they've been corrupted, top to bottom. And giving them power over your lives, more power over your lives, huge mistake. The Democrats are no longer the party even of Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama. They're the party of Bernie Sanders. and they're just wearing around the mask of Joe Biden. They're the party of Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar. Joe Biden is a Potemkin village of a candidate. He is not a bulwark against radicalism. He is a facade for it. Everybody knows it. That's why Bernie is touting him as the most progressive presidential candidate since FDR. There's a reason that Noam Chomsky is on board with Joe Biden. Right? I mean, if you just watch this stuff, it should scare the hell out of you. Today's Democratic Party is not even the Democratic Party of Barack Obama circa 2008. Barack Obama circa 2008 supported traditional marriage. Barack Obama circa 2000.
Oh, God. Ben. How can it be homophobic like that? I don't see what people are like. Gay marriage should be illegal, or it shouldn't be legal. There should be no legal gay marriage. Like, what? What's the point of denying a gay or a lesbian person marriage because why? What's the constitutional kind of reason? Like, what in the Constitution says or like describes the the issues with gay marriage? Because I don't see many issues unless it's something to do with religion. Uh-oh. Stinky. Uh-oh. Benny boy. Mixing church and state. I see. Seriously, there's no reason to deny gay marriage. Marriage shouldn't be about a man and a woman. It should be about a person and a person. That's what marriage is. I don't understand why the government should be only allowed to recognize a man and a woman together and not a man and a man, because marriage helps the economy and it helps overall happiness. Like, there's no reason to not. All you're doing is just making the American people more miserable. Except the people that gay marriage really just deeply hurts, you know? So many cases of people who have just been destroyed by two random strangers that are both the same gender getting married. Oh my gosh, it's disgusting. It really is just sad. Exactly. That sounds like stupid. That sounds idiotic. But that's like really the main argument against gay marriage, is that it's marriage, the definition of marriage. But marriage isn't supposed to be like, the government doesn't take one definition of something as just fact. And the definition of marriage shouldn't even be between a man and a woman. It should be between a person and a person. That's the ethical thing to do. If the definition of murder was drinking water, and the definition of drinking water was what we recognize as murder, does that mean the government's gonna just outlaw the action of drinking water because the definition says murder? No. So that's the same thing here. Why is the definition of something something that is going to change because of society? The societal definition has changed so much for marriage that it's not the same as even anything that says that it's a man and a woman. It's a person and a person. And you may not like it, but that's too bad, because that's the societal perception of marriage, especially with Gen Z. People don't care, except the 12-year-olds that like get pandered by Instagram accounts. Trust me, I used to be one of them, where like they just get told that by like I didn't mean to say white, but to say right-wing conservative, really just socially conservative people that are like, oh, male privilege isn't a thing, BLM is violent, stuff like that.
2008 was not openly in favor of packing the courts or getting rid of the filibuster. Barack Obama in 2008 used to speak about personal responsibility sometimes. Like, all of this is just gone. The Democratic Party is now the party of radicalism. The simple mandate for the Democrats is this. They now believe in cramming down their perspective on everyone they can via any force that they can control.
That's a very, very interesting thing to say, Mr. Benny Boy. No. The reason I say no is that you just said that gay marriage is bad and it should, that you implied that Obama supporting the old definition of marriage as a man and a woman. You just said, and you implied that you support that, and it's obvious you support that. You most definitely said it before, that you do not approve of gay marriage. And you seem to really push that narrative and kind of force it down everybody's throat. If the Democrats are doing that, then you are too. And like abortion, white supremacy, I could go on. Fucking furry porn. I don't know what you do, Ben, but I can tell you that you force your perspective down other people's throats the same way the Democrats do. But I don't even think the Democrats do, and I don't believe that you do. But if you think the Democrats do, then you also should think that you do.
They believe that you should be forced by law to violate your religious beliefs if it conflicts with their social...
They believe... You are not violating your religious beliefs. If somebody else could... What is he talking about? What is he... Violating your beliefs? What topic is like... When do... That's taking the down... What? That's worse than what CNN does to Trump. Like, you might not understand what he just said there, but basically, he said that the Democrats force people to violate their religious beliefs in the context of what I'm assuming is gay marriage, or maybe transition of gender. But nobody's forcing you to violate the... They're not using the government to force you to violate your religious beliefs. When does that happen? When a gay man and another gay man get married, what is forcing? Keyword there, forcing. He said forcing. What is forcing Ben Shapiro to violate his religious beliefs? You could say that gay marriage is a person's religious beliefs, considering that it's not radical or terrorism, so it could be a religious belief. But if you deny them their marriage, you're denying them their religious beliefs. But if they get married, that's not denying your religion. They're not forcing you to abandon your religious beliefs. What? They're just asking that you respectfully they're asking that you respectfully acknowledge them. They're not saying, please acknowledge me. They're just asking that you treat them with respect. And you respect their relationship. Whether you agree with it or not, it's not your say on what their relationship is. Ben Shapiro has me wilding. It's not your decision. So there's no point in saying that your religious beliefs are being vile, or like, what do you say?
This. They now believe in cramming down their perspective on everyone they can via any force that they can control. They believe that you should be forced by law to violate your religious beliefs if it can
Violating
conflict
his religious
with their social
beliefs.
views. They believe
Forced
that the
by
science
law.
says we have
If they conflict with their social views. So if socially, I think that a man and a man should be married, I'm violating everybody's religion using.
They now believe in cramming down their perspective on everyone they can via any force that they can control. They believe that you should be forced by law to.
If I say that a man and a man should be allowed to legally marry, I am forcing anybody by law to violate their religious beliefs if they conflict. What? Like, come on, Ben. That's just absurd. That's completely absurd. How does it legally affect you? By law, there's nothing that affects you. It might emotionally affect you or mentally. And if it does, then I don't know how, but whatever. If a man and a man getting married emotionally affect you, that doesn't mean that we should not ban, but that we should deny as a government legal marriage between them. That doesn't make sense.
Violate your religious beliefs if it conflicts with their social views. They believe that the science says we have to destroy the free market in the name of the environment. They say that unborn babies aren't babies, that men can be women. And if you disagree with any of that, you're a bigot, you're a homophobe, and you're a terrible person. They believe that your right to keep.
Though we should violate. What did he say? Something about capitalism.
To destroy the free market in the name of.
Destroy the free market in the name of the environment. Because, how about we just abuse Earth so we can make some extra cash and have a free market? Instead of maybe, I don't know, just limiting industry and power production through are doing those things via safe and unhealthy ways, or unhealthy habits. Not that unhealthy. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I can't think of the word that I want to use here, but I know it. It's on the tip of my tongue. Unhealthy executions, because that's gonna keep the Earth from overheating and killing everybody. I mean, it's just logic. We're not destroying the free market by limiting industry and power production and forcing them to go through environmentally safer options like nuclear, wind, solar, and hydroelectric. Those all are relatively safe for the environment compared to coal and like oil and other like fossil fuels, and those are pretty good for the environment. So I don't understand what, like, that's a very strong exaggeration of the truth right there.
Unborn babies aren't babies, that men.
Unborn babies aren't babies. Oh God, Ben. Fuck, I don't even want to get into abortion. I'm gonna make a stream later about abortion, probably tomorrow. But no, they are saying that scientifically they aren't babies because they aren't born, and a baby is a child that's born. And usually it's just I believe after the third, or once the third trimester starts, it's a relatively developed baby, and I think it should be protected as a baby in the third trimester, and not abortion shouldn't be allowed. But before the third trimester, it's not a baby.
Men can be women, and if you disagree,
men can be women. they don't. I'm assuming I'm going with the context that he said. Let's see, actually.
Ought to violate your religious beliefs if it conflicts with their social views. They believe that the science says we have to destroy the free market in the name of the environment. They say that unborn babies aren't babies, that men can be women. And if you disagree with any of that, you're a bigot.
They say that men can be women, and if you disagree with that, you're a bigot. Well, Mr. Ben, have you ever really, like, just looked at it from a new perspective and realized, hold on, I'm not being affected by a man turning into a woman. So I'm still gonna just say no, you can't do that. Like, worst case scenario for a person who has somebody else transition gender, the worst case scenario for you, if somebody else changes gender from like a man to a woman, the worst case scenario is that you slept with somebody who was once a guy. That is it. That's the worst. And that's not bad. That's not that bad. Sure, it's okay if you don't want to. I understand that. And if people don't understand that, but I think it's fine to not like people that have transitioned, or to not be physically attracted to people who have transitioned. That's not your fault, really. That's not anybody's fault. That's not their fault. But that's the worst case scenario. You slept with somebody who was once a dude. That's it. I don't see any other, like, problems, really. So, like, stop complaining.
You're a homophobe and you're a terrible person. They believe that your right to keep and bear arms should be heavily infringed, if not outright abolished. They believe that due process comes second to intersectional identity, that we shouldn't judge you as an individual, we should judge you based on your racial group. They believe that America is systemically racist, rooted in sin and evil, founded in 1619, not in 1776. They believe that every single...
That's because even in 1776... In 1619, I'm assuming he's talking about what America was at in terms of slavery and systematic oppression against what once were usual African Americans, or just Africans, I guess, but now I would consider them black because they have differentiated from African American culture or African culture, and I think black culture is a thing because of the cutoff there of just like being stripped of everything and starting a new life of just shit. Not the American life that everybody dreams of starting, but being just forced into labor and abuse and trafficking because of money. So I'm assuming he's talking about that time. And if he is, then that was still going on even in 1770. Not just because the Constitution says that all men are created equal, it doesn't mean that America was founded with that, because no. Most Americans at the time still thought slavery was good. And guess what? Slavery doesn't really listen to the Constitution. So no, America was built on systematic oppression. Do I think it was fully built and America wouldn't be anywhere without that systematic oppression? No. Do I think that that's just the argument for violent BLM protests is we need to burn down buildings because we built this country so we can burn it down? No, I don't think that's not a good argument at all. But I think there definitely is some validity to saying, or 99.999% validity to saying America was built on racial oppression.
Disparity in America can be chalked up to racism and bigotry and America sucking. They believe in racial, sexual orientation quotas, overt discrimination. They believe in a hierarchy of victimhood. If you're low on that hierarchy of victimhood, you should shut up. If you're high on the hierarchy of victimhood, you can say whatever the hell you want. You will never be held accountable. They believe that economic freedom should be curbed in the name of income equality. They care far less about growth and prosperity than they do about some bizarre notion that equality is its own good. They're complicit in a culture war on anybody who disagrees. They seek to ruin anybody who stands in their way, and they will activate the media, they'll activate social media, they'll activate their friends in academia to get all of that done. Meanwhile, they'll make room for Antifa and Black Lives Matter. They will cheer the rioting and the looting, or at least they'll go along with it and refuse to condemn it. But if you go to church during a pandemic, you are a danger to society. If you go to
was it 3 or 6%, something like that, of all BLM protests were violent? Yeah, that's not the main focus of people saying things like BLM. I think their first priority is, getting racial and systemic inequality just away, and systemic oppression out of America before they want to really address the violent protests, because those are like way less of an issue than what's happened in modern America in terms
grandma's
of oppression.
funeral, you're super dangerous. But if you are out there rioting and looting and burning things, that's just a philosophy, guys. It's not a movement. It's not an organization, as Joe Biden said. They literally will not even condemn Antifa. Okay? Antifa is a terrorist organization. They will not condemn it. They will not condemn Black Lives Matter protests that escalate into rioting and looting. They think that there's no relationship whatsoever between an ideology that suggests that America is at root evil and that every institution in American life is infected with that evil, and the rioting and the looting. On foreign policy, the Democrats want to kowtow to Iran. They want to re-enter the garbage Paris Accords. They want to make nice with China. They've threatened to destroy the Electoral College, pack the Supreme Court, abolish the filibuster, add states by simple majority.
Well, look who's destroying the Electoral College and denying it right now, Mr. Trump himself, so I don't understand. Also about the Democrats not condemning Antifa. Antifa isn't really a terrorist organization. Sorry. And also the Democrats not willing to deny the violent BLM protests. Trump not willing to deny the white supremacists, same thing. So you're just pointing out a double standard against you, so I don't understand this.
Majority to vote Democrat. They say they'll use impeachment as a purely political tool. In fact, they've even said they want a congressional committee to use the 25th Amendment to get rid of a sitting president. They seek to centralize all power in the executive branch, and they hope to overrun the powers of the states.
What was I?
A political tool. In fact, they've even said they want to
impeachment as a political tool. Well, Trump's about to use martial law as a political tool to keep him in office for longer. Political tool and Trump, I would not argue for Trump against the Democrats with political tools. That's not a good argument. Political tools have been used by both sides. I will admit the Democrats have done some shady stuff, but Republicans have done worse, so it doesn't even matter, really. I mean, wasting all this time trying to investigate Hillary Clinton for some emails when Trump is trying to impose martial law because he didn't get his win in because he didn't win an election. I just don't understand.
Congressional committee to use the 25th Amendment to get rid of a sitting president. They seek to centralize all power in the executive branch, and they hope to overrun the powers of the states. They're aided in all of this by corporations, the mainstream media, and pretty much anybody else they can get their hands on. They've created a social structure dedicated to ostracizing anybody who dissents on leftist dogma. If you vote for Trump, you are evil. Your friends should stop talking to you. You should stop talking to your own parents. Maybe you should be fired. Certainly, people should stop treating you like a human being. So, here's the deal. I'm voting for Trump. You don't have to love Trump's character. You don't have to like his Twitter account to vote for him. You don't have to approve of the crazy or bad things that he says or the way he often acts. But if you care about the Constitution and economic freedom and the security of the United States, you really don't have a whole hell of a lot of choice. You should vote for Trump. You should certainly vote against Joe Biden and a Democratic Party that is running completely off the rails and now threatens the integrity of the Republic if they are given the levers of power.
Valorant is a 5.
really missed, Ben. I'm sorry. But no. The Democrats do not want to control everything. They just want to fix the world. I mean, look at the mess the country is in right now. I won't say that COVID is all Trump's fault because it was going to be bad no matter what. But it definitely could have been better if we had shut down the country earlier. I think it was my friends. I mean, not really like my close friends, but praising Trump because he kept the economy alive. And he didn't shut down the country. Like, that was so hard for him to not shut down the country. And brave of him. No, the brave thing would have been to shut down the country. The smart thing would have been to shut down the country. Stop COVID from spreading. Slow it down to where hospitals... We don't want to stop COVID because that's way too much of a task. We want to slow down COVID and have it be a slow virus so hospitals can handle the amount of people that are in critical condition and in need of an ICU bed. So, that's really all I have to say. Ben, I'm sorry, but I'm filing for divorce. It's not you.